Hey everybody, it's Mrs. Jones. I'm here doing another one of my ongoing trainings on the Brody Method. Our school's now been using the Brody Method since September. It's now the end of January, and of course people are coming up with questions and things, and so I thought I'd put all the questions and answers in one video so you can go back and refer to them as needed. So the main question I get is, how do I know that a child is being successful with Brody? Like, how fast should they be moving through the program? And for that question, you really want to look at corroborating data. You want to look at your STAR testing data, and you want to be talking with the child's teacher and to see if they're noticing improvement, because you should be noticing improvement fairly quickly. Generally, however, children are going through, a successful child is going through the program about a month per unit. There are 8 practice pages for speed reading, so if you're progress monitoring twice a week, then they should have plenty to get them through a month. But remember, it's not just about going through the program as fast as possible, because the program is designed with the most common syllable type first. You actually want them to take their time and really understand each unit before you add to that and go on to the following unit. So you really don't want them to finish the whole program. It's not an idea of finishing. The earlier units are actually the better units to be spending a lot of time on. That being said, people have often talked to me about the unit progression, and they say, and this has been my experience as well, that students often do very, very well until they hit Unit 3. And Unit 3 is when we introduce the open syllable, and that is the first time where they're going to see vowels, and the vowels are going to say, the same vowel is going to say different sounds. And so students have been doing really well the first 2 units because they're very simple and cut and dry. You know, A says ah, E says ah. Now A could say ah or A. And so they start sometimes slowing down in their progress a little bit. So people have asked me, well, what can we do about that? So I've got a couple of ideas here of some ideas of what you might want to be able to do. The first of all is I made one of these for my students, and this is, it's actually in progress. This is, I call it a flipper. And this is actually for students who are, a group of students who are on Unit 5. And they're starting to struggle a little bit because they've got these vowel teams or vowel pairs. And they've got IE, which sometimes, oops, I've got these in the wrong spot. They've got IE, which sometimes makes an E sound like chief, and sometimes an I sound like pie. So sometimes having like a little manipulative like this, and if you would like one of these, you can just email me at C4Joneses. That's C the letter for the number JONESES at yahoo.com. Or the other thing that I do is I just have the cards out for them to look at, to remember the keywords. And these are the pictures of the keywords. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to laminate these, put a little brad right there, so they are literally flipping the vowel sound. And that's the strategy that we want them to be learning, is flip the sound. Flip from A to E. So that's one thing you can do. The other thing that you can do is to do sort of what I call a hybridization. Normally, what you would do is you would keep a student in, remember there's 2 parts to each unit. There's the A part, which is 2-syllable words, like these, and the B part, which is 3-syllable words, like these. So if you're having children who are struggling, what I often do is I'll keep them in the part B, which is the 3-syllable and up, when they're using their slates, but then when I go to test them, I will test them on 2-syllable words. That's what I'm doing with this particular group of students who is struggling with Unit 5, which is the next big unit where students often start to struggle a little bit. So it's a little bit easier to read. The other thing is to really check your instructional practices. Now that's something I also found with this particular group, that they were getting so good at decoding words that often when we would do words on slates, they were not marking the words. They were not drawing lines where the syllables were. They weren't marking the vowels and the consonants. And so once they got to a unit where the words were kind of difficult, they had gotten out of the habit of doing that. And so they kept asking me for help and asking me, well, what does the word mean? And they started relying more on the meaning of the word than actually decoding the word. And that's not surprising because these are kids that have had trouble with decoding all the way through. So they wouldn't normally rely on decoding, but we want them to rely on decoding. That's the whole point of the Brody system. So get them back to doing that, to drawing the lines and writing the letters, and kind of hold their feet to the fire a little bit and say, you know what, this is the strategy that we're practicing, and this is where you're going to practice. This is the only time really you get to practice using it, because when they're reading their speed reading lists, they're not allowed to mark them. So we want to practice marking them when we can. And even if they say, well, I already know what the word is, well, then marking it should be that much faster. And then what I found when I started to re-emphasize the marking of words, I found that the kids had gotten kind of sloppy and lazy, and they had forgotten some of the things that I knew they knew, and so getting them to do that was helpful. So I hope you found this little problem-solving video helpful in your use with the Brody Method. And thank you so much for your dedication, for coming to observe me teach. I know you've been watching the videos, and it's really rewarding to be working together as a school and finding a method that works for our students and gives us quick results in our foundational skills. So thanks a lot. Bye.